What's happening, Saints fans? Mandatory minicamp day 1 just wrapped up, so we're going to chop it up all about the news, the takeaways, the notes, and all the interesting updates that came out of Saints minicamp. It was pretty interesting. We actually have some Rashid Shaheed injury news to get to. Don't worry, it's going to be okay. But before we get to that, if you want a healthy and a successful minicamp, if you want everyone to come out of there with no injuries, if you want people who are dealing with injuries like Trevor Penning, like Rashid Shaheed, to get healthy, we need to get to 250 likes on this video. So hit that thumbs up icon. And if we get over 250 likes, that only makes it that much better. So let's get as many likes as we can as possible. And also, if you hate the Falcons, hit the thumbs up icon. But here's what you clicked in the video for. The injury news. Rashid Shaheed, he missed minicamp today due to a groin injury. However, Dennis Allen, the Saints head coach, he said it's not a major concern. And for me, I'm not worried about it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Things happen, injuries happen. The severity of the injury or what exactly caused it is unknown. But it's worth mentioning. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I wouldn't be surprised if we get Rashid Shaheed full speed, ready to roll at training camp. It's, I get it. He's a key player, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's just a minor injury, maybe a little tweak or he pulled the muscle or something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not right there next to Rashid Shaheed, so I don't know exactly what the injury is, but it's not a big deal. I wouldn't be worried about it, but we do have to mention it. So let's get into the players that were present, players that did things, that were participating. Alvin Kamara, who was not present during OTAs, those three batches of sessions during OTAs. This is his first time showing face at the Saints facility, being around the team, and he looked great today. He was moving very fluidly, he was moving very smoothly, was getting passes from Derek Carr, and Derek Carr even said to Jake Hader after he threw a pass and he saw Alvin Kamara run a route, he said, and I quote, "Bruh, that's not normal." And I'm personally really excited to have him back in the building, especially with number 30, Jamaal Williams. I mean, look how tough this picture is. This is freaky. If you're a defense, if you're an opposing defensive coordinator and you see these two guys, I mean, look, I'm just going to put this out there. I'm noticing this as I'm looking at it. Their legs are the size of my head. Their legs are the size of my head. Do what you want with that information. If you're a defensive coordinator, I'm so sorry. I feel terrible. But if you're part of the Who Dat Nation, I'm sure you're just like me and you're so damn excited to see these two run it up and get to play together, as well as Jamaal Williams play during that potential suspension that Alvin Kamara has looming in the distance. So, guys, I want you to let me know, because I firmly do believe Alvin Kamara will play this season. I firmly do believe he will not face any jail time. He will be around with the team this season for more than a game. Like, he's going to play. I have full confidence, but I need you to let me know, who are you more excited to watch this season? Is it Alvin Kamara? Because I really do believe he is going to take steps in the right direction. He's going to get back to that pass-catching back, that do-it-all three-down guy that can really make people or give defensive players and defensive coordinators a headache. But I also do think that Jamaal Williams is an exceptional addition to the Saints roster. So let me know, AK or JW. All right, so for Taysom Hill, he did do most of his work today with the quarterbacks. And as we know, he has the quarterback history, but he is listed as a tight end. It's not really even a tight end. He's just a football player. Like, if the fantasy football position of flex was a real position, Taysom Hill would be flex number 1 of the league because, A, he invented the position, and B, he's the best at it. And he did take third-team reps with the quarterbacks. He did not wear the red no-contact jersey, so that's worth mentioning. But Nick Underhill, he added this note. He said Taysom Hill worked out everywhere today, including at quarterback, led some drives during 7-on-7s. And so I also found this pretty interesting because we do know Jameis Winston is your QB2. You have Taysom Hill in the mix as a quarterback, but you also have Jake Haener on that roster. And Derek Carr, he even spoke on Taysom Hill as a passer, not just as an offensive weapon, but as a quarterback. And he said, you throw him a pass, and he throws it right back to you just as good, which I thought was pretty intriguing and pretty interesting. And Taysom Hill, he's one of those players who's done it all, who can do it all. And I know that Derek Carr is very excited to have Taysom Hill in the building. He even went as far as to say that he's just excited to work with them. He knows that what Taysom Hill can add to the team, and I'm excited to see how they utilize Taysom Hill and continue to utilize him with a true quarterback one in the room that is healthy, that can play this entire season with Derek Carr. But we did not see these three players, as we noted earlier. Rashid Shaheed, not a big deal. He wasn't there. Cesar Ruiz also was not there. Anthony Johnson, the defensive back, he also was not present today. At least we did not see him at minicamp. But guys, if you want to stay informed on your New Orleans Saints, I need you to hit that sub button. Lock us in. We're really, really close to 15,000 subscribers. I mean, we're less than 75 away, and I would love to hit it on this video. So help me out. Hit the sub button. Turn on your noties because we're going to be breaking down Saints news, rumors, and updates all off season, talking minicamp, training camp. We talked OTAs. We did draft coverage. We had free agency coverage, and we literally do it all. If you can name something that we don't cover here, I promise you I will Venmo you $100 because that doesn't exist. Subscribe, lock us in for more New Orleans Saints content. All right, we got to talk about him. Can't guard Mike because it's a polarizing subject. A lot of people are sitting here saying, Michael Thomas, he's not going to play. He's not going to be good. He's going to be hurt week 4. He's going to be doing this. He's going to be doing that. Here, there, everywhere. But here's the situation. Michael Thomas is ready to roll. Like, he's looking fine. He was present today, but he didn't participate much, which is no surprise. If you remember, we saw him most recently at the last session of Saints OTAs. Didn't do a ton, wasn't very active, but he was out there. He was present, and that alone means a lot to a team, especially to a guy like Derek Carr, who was very high on Michael Thomas and was a big Michael Thomas being a big reason Carr came to New Orleans, and Carr being a big reason that Thomas stayed in New Orleans. So that's no surprise that he wasn't doing a ton. And I will say this, Catherine Terrell, she put out a really good tweet about this. They said Michael Thomas stretched with the team. His participation was similar to last week. Remember, they said they didn't see much, or they said they didn't expect to see much until training camp. And then Nick Underhill adding this, which I found very intriguing, said the highlight of the day, Mike Thomas had a really nice one-handed grab where he jumped in the air and twisted to adjust, make the catch, while working on fades with Derek Carr. So, you see these fades? It's not a slant route. So, hey, all your slant boy haters, go F yourselves. You guys are idiots. And then on top of that, Michael Thomas is, contorting his body, doing all sorts of things to be able to come down with a catch. Sounds pretty healthy to me. I'm just saying, sounds pretty damn healthy. I don't know very many injured people. Also, Michael Thomas was squatting like 400 plus pounds the other day on his Instagram story. I don't know very many people who are injured, especially lower half of the body, that are able to squat 400 plus pounds. I just want to put that out there. If you can, I'd love for you to try and let me know. But Michael Thomas, he's looking good. He's getting healthy. Expect a lot more news and expect a lot more updates around him to come out throughout minicamp and during training camp. But let's move on to the next cat who was injured most of last season, Marshon Lattimore. I mean, let's be real. He's one of the top 3 CBs when he's not hurt. When he's healthy, this guy is a top-tier cornerback in the league. And he was present today, but he had limited reps on 7-on-7. He did include an early pass breakup. And I think that Marshon Lattimore, he's one of those players that last season you really, really missed. I think that you could have easily had, let's call it 2 to 3 wins that were very on the table, or 2 or 3 games that were very much so on the table as wins, but Marshon Lattimore was not present, so you had to deal with a rookie Alante Taylor and Paulson Adebo taking your CB1 and 2 coverage, which I'm not saying that they weren't good, I'm not saying they weren't serviceable, but Marshon Lattimore is one of the top cornerbacks in the league. You miss out on that, it's going to hurt your team. And, obviously he's not the reason that the Saints, had a little bit of a disappointing season, but having him back only makes things so much better. And I love seeing Michael Thomas back. I love seeing Marshon Lattimore back. I love seeing a lot of these guys home and ready to practice, ready to contribute to this team. So type 2-3. in the comment section if you are also excited to see Marshon Lattimore back, because I know as heck, I know I am. I know that he's going to be a phenomenal football player. I know that he has a very hungry attitude, and he's excited to get after the season this year with the New Orleans Saints, because there's a lot of juice and there's a lot of energy going into this year. And guys, I've told you about this before, but I'll tell you about it again. This deal will not last forever. It will end very, very soon. So if you want this 2-pack t-shirt combo for 40% off, it's a limited time sale. Chatsports.com/Saints combo. It's from Fanatics. You get both t-shirts. You don't pick between one or the other. You get both. They come in. You save 40%. It's an amazing deal. If you need to get something for your pops for Father's Day coming up, I highly recommend this product, because I know that my dad, he's going to love his 2-pack t-shirt combo, so I encourage you to do the same thing. We'll have this link available for you in the comment section and the description of today's video. All right, so some interesting team news to kind of to step away from just some player updates. We'll get back to that in just a second, but I found this very interesting. Ted Ginn Jr., he was working with the coaches and he was working with the wide receivers, helping out. Now, this wasn't in a player role. This was as a coach. He was helping out coaching. He was helping out just kind of around. It's pretty much, hey, I came in, I wanted to help, wanted to contribute, wanted to kind of, point out some things that I'm noticing and I'm seeing. I mean, he's a former Saints legend. He's a phenomenal wide receiver, had a phenomenal NFL career. So I think it's a pretty good idea to bring him in, and plus there's a familiarity with the team. Interesting team news, Ted Ginn Jr., he was around. Maybe in the future, Ted Ginn could find himself as a Saints coach. That'd be kind of cool, but that's not what we're talking about today. We'll talk about that in a future video. But let's get back to the news with Trevor Penning, because he was present today alongside Andrus Peat, James Hurst, and Ryan Ramczyk, and he was only in a watching role as he recovers from that Liz Frank injury. He had the the injuries that he dealt with last season. He's coming back this season. Hopefully he's going to be healthy. Hopefully he'll be ready to roll, because the Saints mortgage a first-round pick on this kid. I think that he is a phenomenal football player. He shows a lot of promise, but you got to get him out there and you got to get him on the field and taking reps, because he is a player that, if healthy, can be a huge piece to the Saints offense. And as for the minicamp tryouts, you saw Kiki Kute, Lynn Bowden Jr., and Pat Elfine all try out today. Now, Pat Elfine, he said that he wanted a starting role. Obviously, you have Eric McCoy as your starting center, on the depth chart. Sorry, Pat. Eric McCoy is pretty damn good. You're not going to be starting over him, barring an injury, of course. So I wouldn't expect much to come out of that. I'm fully prepared to eat my words and make a video if the Saints do sign Pat. But I will say this. I think that the Saints are good with Eric McCoy. Bring in some depth. I don't think that hurts, because you never know what happens with injuries these days. So that's our minicamp news. It's day 1. You got day 2 tomorrow. Got day 3 the following day. So be sure to subscribe. Be sure to lock us in. And if you're still rocking and rolling with us and you enjoyed today's content, please help us out by typing "Stay Golden." I can't let you get away with it if you ain't subscribed, because I can check. I can't let you get away with it. I will call you out in the comment section. So be sure to hit the sub button, type "Stay Golden." And as y'all always know, y'all stay golden. We'll see you tomorrow.